Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Valve Bounce and back to another interview segment. We're sitting here with a young man called Ethan Whitehead, currently driving for the Circuit SA series, piloting 1.6, Ethan. I'm pretty sure they're a 1.6 litre.
1.5. Yeah.
1.5, there you go. So 1.5 litre, backed by, if I say this wrong, please tell me, is it Raymond?
Ryman.
Ryman,
Ryman.
backed by Ryman in the series, and I believe it's your second, second, blah, 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 second, second season. Oh my God, Damo, that's
Do you want me to
horrible.
start?
No, no, I believe it's your second season. We can leave that in as a blooper in the series,
Yeah.
mate. Welcome to the podcast, Ethan Whitehead.
Thank you very much for having me, boys. And good honour to be on here.
Yeah.
I don't know about that terrible
Beautiful.
start, but yeah, honor is ours, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, what a cracking
It makes
start there
fun.
by Steve. Hey. Well, as he said, yeah. Welcome and thanks for joining us. It was great of you. We sort of had that connection initially, and we thought it was a great opportunity to kind of expand and see what you're doing in your world, but also to have someone at the grassroots in the Excel series. So.
Yes.
I guess let's kick it all off. How did you actually get into racing? What was the spark?
I'd probably say the spark was an early age growing up with a redhead family that really helped the whole connection of it all. Growing up as well, young age, we got the Clips of 500. Well, that's what it was back in here in Adelaide. And
Yep.
I was trying to go to that every year with the old man. Some years missed out, some years went, and a lot of fun watching that stuff. Then getting older and you learn to drive, you start driving, you meet a couple of people. But then to get to where I am now, actually racing, it all sort of happens around the first year Talon Bend was on the calendar. It was
Yeah.
me and the other co-owner of Phase 3, Jeff. We just sort of sat around a campfire and drank a couple of beers as you do and sort
Yeah.
of itching to get into it, in a way. So we were sort of like, the super saloons, we look into that, or I think we listed a few other categories. Can't really remember too much, but then we ended up getting into go karts, but I wasn't driving the karts. And now we're here.
Excellent.
Right. Right. That's a big jump, stepping up from a bit of from go karts and not driving straight into the Excel. Um, so I guess that's a good one. What actually attracted you to the Excel series, and tell us a little bit about what that series actually is.
Well, what initially attracted us was the affordability of it. So being a grassroots, it's easy to just pinch Nana's car one weekend and just take it over the track without an hour. But no, look, there's parts out there. It's huge in Australia. Definitely a great grassroots, and you got someone like Mish's XL Garage here in South Australia, who's forever making new bits for them, and Wayno over in Victoria as well, who's actually one of our sponsors, Brakes and More. He's doing the same, and there's a lot in the category there, and then just as a whole, we round one had up to 31 cars on one grid.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
Wow.
for, for,
Wow.
for for young people to get into motorsport, it's a good way, I reckon. Like the controlled items, yes, they get expensive, such as the Super Shocks, but at the end of the day, it makes it more fun to drive the car.
Definitely, definitely. As I was up at Bathurst for the 6 hour, and I was watching some of your fellow competitors up there, and those super shocks are quite stiffly sprung by what I've seen through the lens of a camera. A couple of them hit some
Oh
curves
yeah,
and got on some big two-wheel action.
yeah, that's frequent.
It's good fun. It's good fun. No, very good, mate. That's yeah. It seems like a really good series. As you said, it's quite strong in terms of participation. I've been over to South Australia twice and witnessed you guys in action. They always put on a show, and yeah, there's never a dull moment. That is for sure.
No, not at all. And the category itself, everyone in the field last year made it very easy to come in and just feel welcomed.
Yeah,
Like there's no large egos at all. Everyone's there for the same reason. Whether they have fun or try and progress further with themselves. So it's a lot of helping each other out while also trying to better themselves as well. It's good.
Excellent to hear. Excellent to hear. So you've started with a new car this year, from my understanding, compared to last year. Is that correct?
We did. What a hassle that was.
So tell us a little bit of difference between what you were racing last year to versus what you have currently.
Yeah. So last year we spent the whole of 2022 building our first car, which was just a single cam Hyundai Excel. So it was a lot slower on the top end to everyone else, and the punch out of the corners also wasn't the same. So we worked with that all last year.
Yep.
Coming to the back end of the 2023 season, though, it was up in the air on what was going to happen with the single cam, whether they're going to keep it in the category under the regulations or if they were just going to get rid of it. So no one really knew. And by that time as well, there was only 3 of us in Australia racing single cam.
Okay.
Right.
But then, to save Motorsport Australia of making rules and regulations for the single cam, they just said, nah, no more. So
Yeah.
after the Enduro, we went into last year's Enduro with the idea of just blow it up. We don't need it. And Wayno did a good job of doing that. It came over the hefty one. But I think must have been a good 2 weeks before the Enduro. We found a car in Victoria over in Warrnambool.
Oh.
So we got that picked up. So Dan, he's in the team, he's the other car owner. He went over there to pick it up. And came back, and once the Enduro finished, we just got stuck into the build. And we are in the new car now, and it's a lot different to what I'm used to.
Yep.
Still chasing top end power a little bit, but it's definitely a better car all around.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Damo?
Did you have to change your driving style, with a different power output, a different feel of the car? How was the difference between the two?
I can't really say there was a lot of difference between the two. Coming out of the corners, definitely more noticeable. Like the single cam felt a bit more sluggish, where the twin sort of it would pull through a lot nicer. But otherwise, setup wise as well, I think I had to change a bit more on the new car in regards to dampen the load and sort of play around the camber, which I enjoy doing anyway. I like to try and get the best out of it. But in saying that, the differences, they're very minor, but they're still noticeable in a way.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, look, I sort of watched and carried on a bit, watching your times on NatSoft from the first round. You seem to improve throughout every session. Still a little bit to go though. What have you been working on? Because the next round, I think, is it next week or the week after?
Next week.
Next
week.
Yeah.
Sorry, weekend coming, should I say?
Yeah.
So the times there, they were improving, but not in the way I sort of hoped.
Okay.
So the car, once again, it's holding in the corners a lot better than the old one.
Yep.
You just stick, it'll pull through it, and it'll come out nice. What I lacked massively was that straight line speed.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get the top end out of it. So coming out of that weekend, I just said to the boys, we're just gonna have to stick it on the dyno and sort of see what's going on, what they can find with it. And they found they found a few things with it. Okay. We've got some power back. Not as much as I'd
hoped
for, but at the same time, it's a tired engine as well. It's nothing rebuilt. It's Nana's been put around in it.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing is like the Pulsar Racing Series, right? There's small things that you can change to help them out, but there's not drastic. So you don't when you say you make power gains, you're talking small increments, but they can make a big difference, especially on a long straight at the bend.
Absolutely.
Where you feel like you're rolling for a long, long time.
I'm just stuck there sort of reading the newspaper. Or
just flat stick. Oh, what's going on over there? It's very cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
I guess. Yeah, go Dave.
Yeah, so from in terms of that round one, you sort of now kind of have an understanding of where the car's at, where you're at. You're obviously making some changes. What sort of expectations did you have from the weekend, and Like, where do you now see yourself for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so I went into that weekend with, I wouldn't say some expectations, but they were still there. I was like, definitely want to improve on the times from last year and sort of try and find better points in the track that I can position myself. So it was more of a personal gain I was trying to get out of it on the first weekend. But
Yep.
in regards to finishing positions, I wasn't expecting a whole lot.
Mm.
But after that weekend, and once again, being on the dyno, what we found and what we know what we're looking for round two, I've sort of got an expectation in mind of trying to crack the 20s. So
Okay.
obviously, I think my best was at 2:32.
Yep.
I definitely want to try and make that better.
Okay. Oh, that'll be good.
Nice.
That'll be good. One of the front runners were sort of 27s, I think, off memory, somewhere around there, 28.
So some of the average of the middle pack is around the 27, 28 mark,
Okay.
and the 30 mark. Some of the front runners, like podium guys, they're low 20s.
Okay.
You
So
sort of
they're,
look like,
so they're investing big
Right.
money. Got it.
yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, good on them for getting that far. Like, I wish.
Yeah. That's
Well,
awesome.
see
Well,
how badly the bug bites you, and a bit of extra cash somewhere that pops up. No doubt
yeah,
it'll get
that's it.
invested.
That'd be nice.
Need to find a really nice big sponsor that's really kind with donor cash.
Bruce Mobile.
Bruce Mama,
Yeah.
Peter.
He'd have a fair bit floating around now. I think he's
Oh yeah,
bailing apparently on everything. So yeah.
saved
I'll
money
wear
on
his
the
hat.
on the
I'll wear everything.
qualifiers. Saved money on Holly. Saved money on Brody. Oh well.
Oh god, yeah, I'll wear
Yeah.
his hat. Oh god.
So
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
here's one for you. What's your favorite track? You guys have a range of different layouts at the Bend. I know that you raced on, but you also go to Malala. Have you raced on any other
Yeah.
tracks as well? And if so, yeah, what's been your favorite so far?
Well, so we've the only tracks I've actually raced on is Talon Bend and Malala.
Yep.
Talon Bend is both the international and the West Circuit.
Yep.
I'd say it's hard because Malala's fun. It's a rough and rugged track, and it definitely needs some work, but it's still a very fun track.
Yeah.
It gets you thinking half the time.
Yep.
At the end of the day, as well, the international talent band was also really good because I'm still trying to get used to that myself, especially turns from nine all the way to 12.
The
That,
fast
that one,
sweeping downhill section. Yeah.
yeah, like that gets your adrenaline going if you really start thinking about it too
Big
much.
balls.
Yeah, that my first time around that, I freaked out hardcore. Like, it was wet, it was pouring down, I couldn't see anything, and I just went, "What a debut!"
Oh, I feel for you. That's rough.
No, I think I go back in the garage and said, "Woo!"
Got a bit of work to do, boys.
Yeah.
I'll come back in a minute.
No,
I
I
just need to have
mean,
a cry.
I mean, like now I go through that section now, and I'm like, I can push a bit harder, and I know I can push a bit harder, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm still getting better. I'm still trying to improve in the confidence around there, and it's fun. It's thrilling. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd probably say Talon Bend's fun. It's probably one of my favourite tracks out of the two, really. But I might reconsider that answer in a few weeks' time.
Okay. Okay. Where are you off to in a few weeks' time? Or can't you say?
I'll say it anyway. I don't know what the boys think. I've been offered a spot in a car from Wayno, from Breaks and More,
Yep.
to race at Phillip Islands at the back end of June. Yeah.
Excellent. That'll be cool.
Nice.
You'll love that track. Trust me. I've driven that one. That one's a good one.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
That's
First of all, I've never been there myself.
Yep.
Never been there in person, and never really gone outside of Australia to race and anything else. Well, outside of South Australia, should I say?
It must be
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost classed as
Well,
classic, really.
especially if it's a cold day, then you'll think it's Tassie because the wind
Oh,
off the water is very cold. But
what?
it's an amazing track. Yeah, we've had a few goes there myself, and Steve's had a couple, I think, or one,
One.
one
Yeah, I
or
had
two.
one last year in the
Um,
6 hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is great. There are a bit like that section you talk about at the bend, where there are some sections where you can make up a lot of time when you've got confidence in your car and yourself.
Mm.
So yeah, it'll be awesome. But that sounds like an awesome opportunity. I bet you really can't wait for that one.
No, when I found out about it, I started getting pretty excited. It's like,
Yeah. So what do
I've been in this for how long? I've been offered what?
Yeah, that's good.
it sounds, you kind of sound like me, except I mean I don't really race. I sort of just jump in a car when somebody offers it to me. So I was shoot for the Pulsar boys, and a couple of the guys there have been really kind to throw me keys, which I think they're stupid, but apparently I'm not too bad behind the wheel, so well, that's all right.
Come over to South Australia, mate. Got a pair of keys for
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm there.
it.
Not often he needs to ask twice for that, I can tell
No,
you.
no, I just have to
He'll
ask the
say
wife
yes
for
the first.
permission.
No, it's just not the it's just not the car you're thinking.
Yeah,
That's fine, mate. That's fine.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Sometimes the nuggets are the best ones.
But yes, can confirm.
Yeah, very good. And so
uh,
I guess like when you look at like this the kickoff for you in racing, how did you feel about that sort of that first time of getting out there and actually like you're actually racing? Because I know, so me personally, I haven't done any official races. I've just done regularities. That's been my big thing in club days when I did my stuff. And I'm sure that feeling of stepping up into actual real competitive, like how did that feel for you?
That once again, it comes back to it being thrilling, really.
Yeah.
My debut first ever race last year was pouring down.
Yeah.
Um, so as a first time in, I'll probably say a professional uh,
okay.
competitive race, out in the wet, I was freaked out. It was.
Yeah.
I'd lie if I said I wasn't sort of semi scared.
Yeah.
'Cause once again, everyone's left me behind. I had Riley Matheson say, "Oh, just follow the train tracks." I had to tell them there weren't any. I was that far behind them, none. Um, I mean, you could see from the time I had, the best time I got from that first race was around the 3 minute 20 mark.
Yeah.
That's how
Wow.
I was a full minute off of everyone else.
I don't blame
Wasn't
you,
used to
mate.
it one bit.
If your first outing on the track, especially Tailem Bend, um, that's hard.
Yeah.
In
Like
the wet,
in the wet,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
hard.
Because I came around that back section and there was a car on its roof, and that was in the opening lap. And I sort of went,
Oh.
"Do I just go home now?"
No, no, because you pick up that position and you just hope that the rest land on their roof.
Yeah, that's the glass half full. Like, okay, I'm not last now.
That's right. That's right.
I assume that the competitor was okay, given the fact that it was all right there. But I guess then, so that was your sort of first outing, and understandably, when you're going full pelt or trying to go full pelt in the wet and you haven't done it before, that's scary. What was the dry session that you had, either the next race or the next round?
That got better.
Yep.
Obviously, the car itself, I could feel it stick a bit more.
Yeah.
But then after that, well, I was still the time I shaved time off massively, obviously, because once again, I'm not sliding around, not freaking out as much. Riley, obviously, being next to me in the marquees, he was helping me out a lot more. Um, so going out the second time around in that second race in that weekend, definitely had a bit more confidence. But the braking markers still weren't there, so obviously I was nowhere near trying to keep up the pack whatsoever. I never really was in that car, but it improved over the weekend, absolutely. But especially by the last race in that weekend, I was feeling a lot better about myself. I was feeling bit more better about the car and the track as well in itself. But at that point in time, being so fresh, that back section, I just couldn't hold nothing. I was just sort of looked at it and went, "Oh, no thanks."
I
Yeah.
don't blame you, mate. I really don't. I can imagine. I haven't been able to run in the wet yet, but I don't think I'd be anywhere near as quick as I would be in the dry. I'd pretty well freak out and be like, let's just not kill the car.
Yeah.
Well,
It
I can
gets the
tell you
blood
that
pumping.
it does. Yeah, I think my first real like shit moment in the wet was main straight of Phillip Island, and I was still running like an R-spec tire, so slightly grooved. And you start getting your confidence. I've been doing some laps. It was all good. And you're going down the main straight, so you just keep pulling gears, and then all of a sudden I'm in the almost the top of fourth because in the old EA Saloon Falcon that I had, going to fifth, you kind of needed to do it, but you didn't really get any speed out of it. But yeah, you transfer into fifth, and then all of a sudden like it just there's no grip, and I'm just doing these ones, and I'm like right, just I'm gonna just come back another notch there. That was the moment when I like that was actually scarier than when the hub broke into turn one. Like that was felt like I had more control and knew what was like or something broken, right? I can ease off. But when that went, yeah, in the wet, it was
It's an
yeah,
ice
I
skating
shat
rink.
myself. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I agree with the ice skating. Made one last trip like that.
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, when you feel the car not attached to the road, no good.
Yeah,
Yeah. You just go, oh, okay.
yeah, you got no control.
No.
All right, so I guess let's round out. I guess before we get to know you a little bit better. But so you talked about your expectations for this year. You just want to keep improving. Have you set any other like sort of success goals, or is there something that you want to be able to say? Yeah, I got. Is it the time that you mentioned, like getting under a certain time? Is there, I don't know, successfully not crashing? Like what does it look like for you this year?
Um, the time's probably one of the major factors for me. And second to that would definitely be my championship finishing position. So
Yep.
last year we just kept bringing it home, and we were able to pocket some points from that, and we finished 18th overall last year in the championship. So I want to sort of try and definitely beat that by a couple of spots for sure. I don't see myself cracking top 10 at all. It would be nice, but anything better than 18, I feel like would be a good personal goal to kick.
Yep.
And
Yep.
other than that, it would just be trying to have a few more tussles with everyone else out the track, really, because that was fun.
Yeah, well, that's why
Yeah.
you go racing, isn't it? Have a bit of tussle and
Mm.
yeah, have a bit of fun. I mean, most of the fun stuff happens at the back of the pack anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's cool.
Beautiful.
Well, Damo's typing away here, and I can
I
see what
know.
he's typing. Um,
Well,
it's a big
let,
question. Like, are you sure you want to go with this one, mate?
well, I think we've been chatting now for what is it, 25, 20 minutes or
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Now it's time to ask the serious question or whether we
Okay.
can continue. So
There we go.
supercars, are you Ford or Chev?
Forward.
Oh,
Yes.
safe.
I was confident. He's got the Mustang in the background. So
Oh, hang on, man. There's a choice more.
oh
Oh, lovely.
What's the one I need to show you?
yeah, beauty, beauty, beauty.
Show my wardrobe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess yeah, let's move on to stuff that like I guess you enjoy in terms of the supercars. So who would be your favorite driver and or team? Who do you follow?
It definitely it's hard. It had always been tossed up between DJR and Tickford. DJR, like, I've got that renowned respect for them just because of Dick Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Growing up, the old man's got an XD, and watching the old tapes of Dick Johnson and his XD, I just loved it from there.
yeah,
Um, and Tickford was really, when I was going to the supercars regularly, it was back when obviously Frosty was still with them.
Yeah.
He was so great to meet and talk to every time I had that chance. And
mm,
then seeing Cam Waters sort of coming up through the ranks there, and now Thomas Randall as well. Like, those boys themselves, like, high respect for them. Love watching them race, especially
yeah,
Thomas. He's such a down to earth sort of fella. So
yeah.
at this rate, I'd probably say Tickford with the Castrol car and Monster car for
Yeah.
sure.
No, look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Well,
There you
for
go.
me anyway, Chaz is probably my driver, I guess. It was
Love Chaz.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a character. Um, yeah, like I suppose like yourself, Damien and I both grew up with Dad really loving Ford, so we got muscled into it, I guess, and
Yep.
along with other things in sporting. But it was funny, right? The first time I went to a supercar race was actually Phillip Island, and I don't know if it was the same for you, Damo. I don't know if you went to one earlier than me, but we went to Phillip Island in '93, which was when Glenn Seaton was running an EB Peter Jackson car, and he won, I think, every race. He might have lost the last one actually to Alan Jones, if I remember correctly. But um, that was it for me. So then I was a Glenn Seaton fan, and then Ambrose came along, and I was an Ambrose fan, and then Frosty came along, and I was a Frosty fan, and then Chaz, and it just keeps going. And then Scotty Mac.
That's
Mac was
right.
just a crazy man.
It's always the fresh ones that poke through and they catch your eye.
Yeah.
Wow, they're good.
Well, you know they're good when they're on the other side of the fence, and you're like, I kind of still like them, but I can't follow them because they're on the other side of the fence.
Well, I'd say that about Brock Feeney, for example. He is such a young fella. He's younger than I am, and racing for Red Bull and getting podiums. So that's insane. I'll see that and go, wow.
It is.
No, there's still hope, hey?
Still,
not for the old bastard like me, but you're in with a chance, mate.
We can do it. Damo, we just got to nail like a 6-hour rate, right? We just go to Bathurst 6 hour. That's our goal.
I'm just gonna nail the Tats Lotto numbers so I can do the 6 hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, the lottery wouldn't race in supercars. Go straight to Europe.
Yeah.
Europe, yep. GT racing or
GT3.
GT3?
Yeah,
nice. All right, so GT3, you say you'd go over there if money wasn't a factor. So what's the manufacturer that you're back in GT3?
It would be BMW for a long shot. The new M4s just look beautiful.
Yeah. You like the nostrils.
They're doing a good job. Sorry?
You like the nostrils.
It grew on me.
Yeah.
When I first seen them, I was like, that's disgusting. And it just started growing. I'm like, it's starting to look good now.
I must admit it grew.
Yeah, but when they're fast and when they're like a successful race car or like a fast road car, that stuff does tend to like soften because I have not been a fan, and I'd still, if I had the money to buy a road car, I'd still change that grille to the aftermarket one, which cleans it up a little bit. But in terms of a GT3 car, that'd be awesome.
Oh, it'd be wicked.
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah. Have you actually, speaking of that, and I don't know if you're a YouTube fan or not, but do you watch TJ Hunt?
No, I don't.
So he built an M4, right? Like an actual road going M4 into a GT3 car, like to drive on the road. and
it is ugly.
It's crazy, but the amount of time and effort that went into it, it's insane, and it's still drivable. Like it's still a normal. It's just crazy. Anyway,
well, that's why you might as well just go out and buy yourself a Porsche GT2 RS.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Well, that would be the dream, mate. That would be the dream.
Any Porsche.
A lazy $500,000 lying around.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
Oh well, one day when I win lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
I'll start putting these back in cars.
Yeah.
So why do you have like a little valve there, mate? What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was just moving a boat trailer around and just thought I should probably start this boat trailer up, and it shot this out. How does that happen? Real story behind it is...
Yeah, you go.
Sorry, real story behind it is I'm a mechanic by trade, and where I'm working, there's like a little field area, there's a boat trailer out there. It was a pigsty, so I thought, while I'm out there, I'll grab a rake, so I clean stuff up. And this thing just rolled around the ground and went, doesn't seem right. And I just pitched it. Yeah. What do I miss?
Well, it's always better to find it on the shop floor than perhaps out of a hole in an engine or the top of the valve cover or something.
I reckon so. No, the first thing that popped into my mind was, that's right, they're boys.
That's useful. I might need to put that one back. Well, we asked a few people around the traps to submit questions, mate. To be fair, we didn't get a whole lot back, but we did find out something very interesting. So
We
what's
got an
the
important one, didn't we?
we got a very important one. So apparently,
Don't worry.
what's with the hating beetroot and Brussels sprouts, mate?
That stuff's just disgusting.
Beetroot
You
is
like
like
you
an
got two of the
Australian
worst
thing.
vegetables.
Have
Throw them in a
you?
salad. You expect people to eat it? That's just bad.
Yeah,
Feed
yeah,
my dogs.
Damo would agree with you, but Damo's not a fan of anything green, so.
yeah. Very true. Yeah, it's just
Um,
my daughter and I that we're with you 100% there, mate.
No, Brussels sprouts are okay, mate. You just got to pan fry
Oh,
them in a heap of garlic butter, and then they're all
yeah.
do all that just for it to end up in the bin.
I'd rather use the garlic butter on some bread, mate. That'll be better.
100%. 100%. For a good bit of steak.
Yeah,
Oh dear me, that's funny. Well, look,
yeah.
the other thing that was submitted was the fact that you have an obsession for weird socks. So,
Who gave you these?
I don't know, maybe your mum.
Maybe.
Probably. No, the weird socks is definitely a big trend. Like I've got a pair on now. It's got a nacho on it.
Nacho.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got some pelicans.
Oh yeah.
The obsession is there. I'm not going to deny it. Wearing this stuff out in public's fun, especially on like a nice event out. You know, you go to a nice restaurant, you've got good clothes on, nice shoes, and you got some stupid socks on your feet.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just
Makes
shows
for a good
your
look.
character, right? Like it
Yeah.
shows you are serious, but at the same time you can have fun. I think that's okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You know, I had the video of the photo of me laying in bed in the race suit, and I had some weird socks on there.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
have
take
to go
that
back
up
and
with
look at
that
that. I didn't look for the socks.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to put the shoes on.
Yeah.
Were
I
they
was too busy
fireproof
staring at the
socks?
fact. Yeah, yeah, too busy staring at the fact that you're in a full race suit, lying in your bed in front of the kitchen, just waiting for the race to go.
Cat and dogs, you know.
It's the
Uh,
snake, but in SA.
yeah, it was very good.
No, no, very
Beautiful.
cool, very cool. All right, Damo.
Well, let's get off the weird food and socks and stuff. And
Hope it was crazy.
what's kind of your road car? What do you drive at the moment, or what would you drive if you had the option?
So, being a Ford man,
Yep.
I do tend to drive my nice FG Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
That's got
Yeah.
some of the works done. Like, it's not turbo or nothing, but you know, it's got some of the works done. It's neat. Needs a respray, but as all Fords do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, so I've got that. In the sheds, the ZJ Fairlane that I built the engine for.
Ooh.
That's nice and lumpy and scary to drive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, dream car to have, if I could, would personally, just to have it in the shed, would be a 74 two-door John Goss in the blue with the XB Falcon. That would be a dream.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty good dream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love the Gossies. They're beautiful cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
they knew how to make them look nice.
They did.
they definitely
They
did.
What about yourselves?
Oh, Damo, go on.
Steve, right?
No, you
Oh,
want me to
me? Okay.
go?
Well, I currently drive a BMW
You
M135i,
do.
so it's a 10-year-old car now. And it was just one of those things that when I was looking at downsizing, because I had an FG, an XR6 FG, and then when it was just my daughter and I, when that all that stuff went down, I was like, I don't need the big car anymore. And so I was just trying to find something that was a pocket rocket, and yeah, just performance wise, it's so good. I love it. I don't use the performance that much, being like just driving my daughter
To
around a
and from
bit.
Woolies, just
Yeah,
lighten it
but
up.
anytime we do a bit of a cruise, there are a few times where it gets opened up a little bit, to the speed limit, of course. And yeah, it's like it's just such a great car. But if I could have anything, it would have to be like it'd be a Porsche, like a GT, or the GT3 RS. Like that would be the ultimate. That new one is just blows my mind how insanely engineered, how well it's engineered, and just a beast of a car. So that would probably be the big dream. If I was sticking with the old camp, the old Ford camp, that I'd still love the old Sierra. I'd love a turbo
Ooh, yeah.
Sierra. Just
Yeah.
they were just. I mean, that was when I was reasonably young, still growing, and that was my entry into the cars Group A. And I saw some Group C stuff that happened, but yeah, I really got into it during that Group A, and the Sierras were just always just watching the Shell Sierras was awesome. So yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yeah. Look, for me, I drive a Hyundai i20N, so that's my daily. Um, I don't have any other cars really, other than the wife's car. That's pretty boring and mundane. But if there was a car that I ever wanted, childhood dream was always a Ferrari Testarossa. I saw
Yeah.
one when I was about 6 when we were in the city, and that was it. That was the
Yep.
day that I just went, that's the car that I always want. If we're current day, I'm kind of like Damo. I'm a big Porsche man, so a GT3 RS or even just the regular GT3, I'd be probably pretty happy with, to be honest.
I'm glad
Um,
we're all on the same page about Porsche and
yeah,
their GT3.
yeah. But yeah, if I
Yeah.
if I go down the Ford route, and I've had a couple, but
Yeah.
I actually love a car that's unloved in the Ford range, which is the EB GT.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
everybody hates
Obsessed with
that
it.
car, but I just love it. I don't know what it is about it. It was just my time. I was what, 8 or 9 years old when it came out.
Yeah.
Again, it's just one of those childhood things that once you see them, they stick in your brain, and that's the car you'd love to have.
Even with that
Yeah.
stupid little bonnet scoop on it, it still did look aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And
exactly.
that's another. It got much better with age. Like I
Oh yeah,
didn't. I loved it at the time too, but it did get a lot better. Like when it's aged,
yeah.
and probably more so the EL GT was probably more of a striking kind of body kit on it.
Beta,
But
Yeah,
beta grill.
yeah, but it definitely looks even better now, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Like a fine wine, they age well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess is there any shout outs in terms of for your sponsors? I guess people can't go racing without sponsors,
They
and
definitely can't.
it'd be a good opportunity for us to sort of pay homage to the people that help you out. So give us a shout out to your sponsors.
Absolutely. Obviously, the first and foremost is Ryman Manufacturing here in South Australia. Those boys have come on and helped us out massively.
Yep.
And without them, we probably wouldn't be racing as much as what we are now. And well, definitely not without the big support behind us. And those boys themselves, they're great. They're lovely. The pair of brothers that run the show, and try and speak to them as much as I can and keep them involved and in the loop. Obviously, we got Breaks and more as well. Reno in Victoria, he's helped us out hugely as well for the last 2 years now, and he's given me seat time in a few weeks' time. So
It's awesome.
Yeah.
that, and we've got Kaz Raceline, Motorsport Racewear that helped me out personally hugely. Always got massive love for them and for Kaz. Repco St Mary's here in South Australia and South Road. They helped us out with a lot of parts building the car.
Awesome.
Got all the time in the world for those boys and girls that work in that department because I see them every day regardless. We've got Snapper Point Brewing down at Aldinga. Beautiful beer. If you guys ever come here, go see Davo on the weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Wonderful beer.
Excellent.
Don't
Good to
twist our
know.
arms too much on
Oh, Clipsal.
that.
Sorry, not Clipsal. We got the Adelaide 500 at the end of the year, Damo. Are we
I
going?
know. We still call it the Clipsal
I
after
know.
going there for so many years.
It's a force of habit.
It is. It's just what you knew it as.
Thanks so much for your time today, Ethan, and appreciate you dedicating the time for our channel. And it's great to see you getting out there and learning your craft. And it's obviously a great interview for people who are wanting to get into the whole motorsport grassroots, sort of the entry level stuff. It's a good story to share. And I guess we'll be watching with anticipation as you go through your next couple of rounds to see how those times go. And we appreciate you coming on for a chat.
100%.
No, thanks very much, boys, for having me, and allow me to keep this out.
I love it.
Love it, mate. Love it.
it's been good to actually finally talk to you fellas. And, yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed this little meeting. It was good, and I hope to do some more with you in the future.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
We'll get you on board, and thanks for being not just a friend of the podcast, but just being a general support in the sense for us as well. Because without you guys, we don't have anyone, so we're just yabbering in the background.
That's all right. We've always got a spot in the car, that's for sure.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Adelaide trip, here we come, Damo. Let's get it on.
Yeah, let's book it in, mate.
All right, thanks
One of the
very
boat.
Yeah.
No, thanks
Awesome.
very much,
Thanks,
man.
Ethan.
Really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thanks, boys.
Have a good one, mate.